What's going on, YouTube? I'm Don. Today is Monday, November 14th, and this past weekend, Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther, hit theaters, and it definitely didn't disappoint. I believe this is probably one of the most anticipated movies within the past year. With the passing of Chadwick Boseman, it was definitely a lot of questions about, who's going to be the next Black Panther. Will they bring Michael B. Jordan back? Will it be somebody new? Will it be Shuri? Who will the next Black Panther be? And I feel like just the beginning of the movie was just a tribute to Chadwick Boseman and all that he done for the culture. Reprising the Black Panther role. It really is a big cultural thing for African Americans. They had the first Nigerian movie premiere, so that's kind of cool. And they're gonna put Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther costume in the African American museum. So it really is a big thing, a cultural event, and definitely just rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. And we just thank him for reprising that role. But as for Wakanda Forever, just shout out to Ryan Coogler, because no one could have anticipated having to totally rewrite and essentially rebrand an entire movie series. How do you make that transition into someone else reprising that role and the audience being accepting of it? I know he had some help writing the movie, but he was one of the co-writers and the director. The movie starts out, of course, with the all-white funeral, and with a lot of African culture, is more of a celebration of life than a mourning of death. So everyone is in all white, and they have this Black Panther casket with the Black Panther actually imprinted on top of the casket, and the casket is lifted up by one of the spaceships and carried off. It's just a cool sight to see. One thing about this movie, as compared to the first movie, they got a lot of criticism. For one, the CGI is a lot better. It's way better than the first movie. And also, I think the first movie got criticism for not having enough action. Right after the funeral scene, we see Russian troops trying to storm I guess you would call it a Wakandan lab. They were looking for vibranium. So we learned that the world is kind of fascinated with vibranium, and they feel like Wakanda should be more open to sharing it with everyone in the world, and stop being so secretive, I guess. And Angela Bassett is still, such an amazing actor. Of course, she plays Queen of Wakanda, mother to T'Challa and Shuri. It's just this powerful scene, and she's at the UN, and the Wakandan warriors bring in the Russian troops, basically saying, we won't have mercy next time this happens. So yeah. One thing I did forget to mention, also at the beginning of the movie, Shuri is in the lab trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb that Killmonger burned in the first movie. She feels like, she can recreate this. This would save T'Challa's life, but of course she's too late. So it's tradition for after a funeral, you burn your funeral garments. So Ramonda and Shuri, they go by themselves, and they are going to burn their garments. And this is the first look we get at Namor. Just off the top of my head, of course Thanos will always be number one as far as villains go. But I love Namor's character as a villain because he was very strong for one, and similar to Killmonger, I wouldn't call their motives evil. I feel like Thanos was just completely maniacal and evil, but Killmonger, his father had been killed. He'd been ostracized from Wakanda, and Namor. Something we find out about him also is their land was also struck with vibranium, as was Wakanda, which saved his mother's life and his people's life, and they were able to live underwater after ingesting vibranium. Namor's whole thing was he wanted to protect his underwater civilization of people, and I believe it was called Talcon in the movie. He wanted to keep it a secret. He wanted to keep his civilization safe. But he had heard about a scientist, MIT student that created she essentially created a vibranium detector. And they were using this to try to find vibranium underwater, which would, of course, disrupt his people and his civilization. He comes to Ramonda and Shuri, and he basically demands it of them to be his ally. But of course, Wakandans don't take too lightly to demands. He leaves a seashell made of vibranium, and he tells them to blow it, and he'll return. Shuri and Okoye set out to find this scientist because Namor and his people mean her harm, and it's all in the name of protecting where they stay. Fast forward a little, we actually find out that this scientist is Ironheart, and Ironheart is a hero that's very reminiscent of Iron Man. She has the metal suit. She has the arc reactor in the shape of a heart. So it's a very cool hero to add to the mix. It actually ends up happening that Shuri and Ironheart are captured and taken to their underwater civilization. And this is when Ramonda enlists the help of Nakia. So of course we remember Nakia from the first movie. She was the love interest of T'Challa. Nakia sets out underwater to find Shuri and Ironheart, or Riri, as they call her in the movie. But while Shuri is in this underwater civilization, she actually gets to talk to Namor and kind of find out about, and that's when we kind of find out about his origin and about his people discovering vibranium. And he actually gives her a sort of peace offering, which is a bracelet that I believe belonged to his mother, or his mother gave to him, and it's also made of vibranium, which will be important later in the movie. The kid is able to rescue Shuri and Riri and return them to Wakanda, and they actually kill a few of the underwater civilians, and this really enrages Namor. He strikes an attack on Wakanda that kills Ramonda. The movie at this point really takes on a more somber tone, even somber than it was before with T'Challa's death, because now Shuri has to deal with the death of her brother and her mom, and I think her character really had the biggest shift from Black Panther to Wakanda Forever because of everything she had to go through and how quickly she had to go from, little sister to acting queen of Wakanda after the death of her mother. So this really ramps her up to do more research on the heart-shaped herb and try to recreate it to create the next Black Panther, essentially. Ironically, the key to it all was the bracelet given to her by Namor, which was made of a vibranium plant. One of the coolest scenes in the movie to me was Shuri drinks or takes the heart-shaped herb. Of course, we know from the first movie you go to the ancestral plane before you get the strength of the Black Panther. In Black Panther, we see T'Challa. He sees his father. Killmonger also sees his father. So the question I had when Shuri drank the heart-shaped herb, who would she see? Of course, a lot of people was like it may be, a CGI recreation of T'Challa, or I was thinking it would be her mom. And actually the person who she saw was Killmonger. And he was basically, in my opinion, the person that she needed to hear from. He was coming from a vengeful place, which was definitely not the right thing, or not the thing that you want to hear. But he was also telling her, if you want to be Namor, you have to be yourself. You can't be T'Challa, you can't be your father, you can't be anybody but Shuri. And when Shuri comes back from the ancestral plane, when she wakes up, she feels like, the ancestors had abandoned her because Killmonger in her eyes was a traitor. He was their enemy. She dons the Black Panther suit and she enlists the help of M'Baku. I feel like Winston Duke was born to play M'Baku, even from the first Black Panther movie. Their plan is basically they have to go to war with Namor and the people of Talokan. One more thing to add, Shuri makes these suits for a few of the warriors, including Okoye, and we later find out that they are to be called the Midnight Angels. To have the Midnight Angels and also Ironheart in her new suit alongside battle with the Jabari warriors, and of course Shuri, who is the new Black Panther. So her fight with Namor is a really good finale for the movie. They really fight to a stalemate up until the point where Shuri actually has Namor beat, and she can kill him. She finally hears her mother. I think that the voice that she wanted to hear, and she's saying, "Show him who you are." And this is actually something she said to T'Challa as well in the first movie. Shuri shows Namor mercy, and he yields, and he tells his people to also yield. So that was the kind of like the final fight scene. You had Ironheart flying around. You had the Midnight Angels. You had the Jabari warriors, the Wakandan warriors, and they were all on this huge ship. And then you had the people of Talokan, and they really had them outnumbered. But also, an aspect of the movie I forgot to mention was Everett Ross and his involvement with helping to find Shuri, keeping Wakandan secrets, and they actually rescue him at the end of the movie from being transported to jail. Namor is satisfied with having the Wakandans as allies for now. The final secret that we learn when Shuri visits Nakia in France is of a child. We learned that this is Nakia's child with T'Challa, whose name is also T'Challa. That was just a good way to wrap the movie up and leave room open for the franchise to continue. But yeah, this movie, I know it's a lot I missed, but that was kind of a synopsis of the movie and some of my thoughts. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I think Ryan Coogler did a good job of being able to write the movie and keep the franchise going. And he really did Chadwick proud, and they did honor him a lot in this movie as well. So, like I said, just rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I'm looking forward to the next Black Panther project, whatever it is, or next Avenger movie, or the next time we'll see Black Panther in general. I guess that's it, y'all. Like the video, comment on the video. Appreciate y'all for watching. As always, let me know if you think Wakanda Forever is better than Black Panther, or if you think Black Panther is better, let me know also. Just drop it in the comments. And yeah, that's it.